Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the weekend wrap up here on Shelbyville Now. I'm David Thomas, and across from me is Mr. Josh, the one and only Josh Blevins.
I hope
And
so.
what
Hopefully,
are we,
there's only one.
What are we drinking? What we got in here
are
today?
drinking Southern Cup. This was provided by, all they said was Dave, and I got a sneaking suspicion this was provided by Dave Rogers of Cooking with a Veteran, who I happened to see through the drive-through line a little bit before me. So I appreciate that, Dave, and thank you for the coffee.
Very good, very good. Well, I got this is brewed in my kitchen and put in a McDonald's cup that I've been using over and over.
You have reused a McDonald's coffee cup.
Repurposed. Well, it's not repurposed. It's just extending the life of. And this is saving. This is environmentally.
You are very environmentally friendly this morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I appreciate that.
So Josh,
the environment does too.
Before we hear from our sponsors, you got anything pressing this morning that's going on around town or in the county?
If you are concerned about money and politics, there's going to be a lot of talk about that today. If you don't really care about that, you may not want to listen in.
We need everybody listening.
There's going to be a lot of talk about money and politics. We're also jumping without a parachute today. I didn't even have time to do notes, so I literally just brought a stack of paperwork, and we're just going to work our way down.
We kind of know what's going on.
So we'll talk about some things. So we'll talk about
Well, let's hear from our sponsor this morning, Dennis Young Insurance, longtime sponsor here on the Weekend Wrap-Up Show. We appreciate those folks out at Dennis Young Insurance. We also have Cutting Edge Optical, which is they're in their new location, Josh. We keep
North Main.
On North Main. They've been there now about a couple months, and people are starting to get acclimated to their new location. But fine folks out there for all your eyeglasses, prescription glasses. They can do on-site remote exams, which is fun. It's phenomenal. Cool. It's wild that you go in and you sit down and they bring this I don't know what they call it, but the device where you get fitted for your glasses.
Check your eyes.
And then there's a doctor actually on a screen that controls it remotely and looks at it. And they just set you down in the chair. They do it. They get you in and out, and then they take care of your contacts, your prescription glasses, whatever you need. They can handle it right there.
That's very high tech.
Yeah, very high tech. And then we also have the Dream Team.
Yes,
Diane and Madison Arnold here with Coldwell Banker.
Yep,
we appreciate them.
Appreciate their sponsorship.
Yep, and let's hear from all these, and we'll be right back.
For clear vision and trusted care, choose Cutting Edge Optical. We offer comprehensive eye exams powered by 20/20 exams, expert contact lens fittings, and a wide selection of quality frames to match your style and budget. Need glasses fast? We even offer same-day eyeglasses to keep you seeing clearly without the wait. Our experienced team is committed to personalized service and helping you see your best every day. Visit Cutting Edge Optical at 1114 North Main Street in Shelbyville, or call 931-488-5778 to schedule your appointment today.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
When you're ready to buy or sell in Middle Tennessee, you want someone who knows this community inside and out. Meet Diane and Madison Arnold, Shelbyville's trusted real estate team with decades of local experience and award-winning results. Whether it's finding your dream home, pricing your property to sell, or navigating every step of the transaction with confidence, they're with you from start to finish. As part of Coldwell Banker Southern Realty, they pair hometown expertise with powerful market tools to help you move with confidence. Call Diane and Madison today and experience the personal service and local knowledge that makes all the difference.
All righty. Welcome back in here to the Weekend Wrap-Up. You caught us talking off camera. Sorry about that, but we have a lot of things to talk about today, Josh. And
we have a
stack of papers.
I have a stack of paperwork that I got from the Election Commission. We are going to hold that briefly because I need to go through my shorter things first.
Let's do them.
Because I didn't take notes and I'm going to forget it. I'm old and I get forgetful.
You're not old, Josh.
I'm old and forgetful. So we're just real quick. I just want to run through a couple of news items, just get people up to date. I posted an article yesterday or the day before, the quarterly report from Uncle Nearest.
Yes.
It was basically just a financial update. Just one thing I want to point out on that, now that we're getting actual numbers from somebody that's being kind of checked behind by CPAs and stuff, They are 7 months into this process. They had done 10.6 million in sales and spent 10.6
Wait a
million
minute.
dollars to generate that.
7 months.
7 months.
10.6 million in sales.
10.6 million in sales, 10.6 million in expenses, and those expenses do not include paying down the debt.
Debt service.
Yeah,
is
all
not in
that's
there.
on hold. So,
Phew.
which is a kind of an indication of what the receiver's been saying
Yeah.
of they can't keep operating like they were. They don't.
There
have
was a
the-
term used in there when it was talking about finding a buyer that I said, "What in the world does that mean?"
straw buyer, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
I looked that up. That was basically they look for somebody that's willing to come in early and make an early offer, and that's going to kind of set the floor of the minimum of what they would accept,
Right.
and then start getting into. They're hoping some kind of a bidding war
Okay,
or
so
auction
that's
situation.
kind of
between
somebody
different-
saying
yeah.
like, "Well, if I had to buy it, I'd pay this for it."
I pay this amount. They're willing to be the
Yeah.
first guy in, say, hey, this is kind of the floor price, and then hopefully get a bunch
Gotcha.
of
Okay.
activity
Well, I didn't know
going.
what that meant. And I said, "Well,
Yeah,
man,
and I may be
somebody-
wrong about that being the term, but I think that was
Yeah.
it. Something to that effect. So, but that is the correct definition. A couple other things I want to point out. These are meetings I didn't go to, but I actually heard from people sitting on these boards. They just wanted me to update you on these. BCUD had their meeting this week. This is the one where they're voting on the water deal with Chapel Hill.
Right.
They, the board, it was not unanimous. They did vote to move forward with this. It's not a done deal because it now has to go to the lawyers and it also has to be approved from Chapel Hill's side. But as far as from the BCUD's board side, they're good with it. So, Wastewater Authority, they had their meeting and they're about to send their stuff up.
The advisory committee.
The advisory
Okay.
committee is about to send their stuff up for further consideration.
Now, Josh, we know that we've got some current legislation about to take place to where TDEC is going to be required to raise their standards big time.
Correct.
This was news this week
Yeah.
or maybe last week that's come out. And I talked to a couple of members that are on this advisory board, and they said we pushed things forward, but we're going to wait and see also what TDEC comes out with and how high their standards are going to be. That's all got to be incorporated.
Right. All
together.
this has to be worked in. I
Right.
think the county planning person has to put Chris White
Right.
has to put his stamp on it. So a lot of moving parts. This is not a done deal, but this particular committee has kind of gathered as much information as they feel like they need to move
Yeah.
this
And
forward.
one
So,
point in that new bill and the legislation was that the liability on counties was addressed in it.
yeah, there was some bonding required from the developer. They had to get a bond for a certain number of years to protect the county. So
Right.
they're not left on the hook for
And
the
I think that's
assistance.
what county government has a big issue with is liability. What if a developer comes in and we have this neighborhood that fails?
They go belly up. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so what do we do? Well, they're
Right.
not liable for it in
Yeah.
this hopefully this new upgrade.
That is correct. Yeah, that's what they're looking at. So that, those are just a couple small updates. The other kind of biggish update I wanted to give was just what happened at the city council meeting. That was the
Yeah.
only big city or county meeting. I was obviously at that meeting. We voted on a bunch of stuff. I'll just go through it here real quick. I actually brought my agenda. We did approve the money for the American Mule and Bluegrass Festival in September.
Yeah. Got to take care of the mules.
Got to take care of them. We had two split votes. These were the two controversial items. We had the Remington Farms got sent back to the Planning Commission. That vote was 4-1. I was the lone vote against that. My reasoning real quick was besides the fact that I don't think the infrastructure is ready for this anyways.
Right.
The way that this has been sent back is not a normal
I saw that.
process. If you'd heard the study session, it was recommended that we start the process over, go
Right.
back, do a planning
You're
meeting.
doing it midstream this
First
way.
reading, second
Yep.
reading. This is
Yep.
really just.
Here's
This is a.
I know
this is
exactly what
this
you're
is-
about to say, Josh.
Yeah, this is just a little nod to the developer. We're sending it back real quick, but we're still going to go ahead and push it through next month.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
So you don't go back and have a first reading and a second reading. This is
Right.
midstream. Here's what I see that could possibly happen, Josh. You tell me if I'm wrong. This could go back to the planning commission. The way it's presented in that commission that you sit on,
Yeah.
it could actually come out with a favorable recommendation going into the second reading.
That's, I think, the direction it's headed.
That's what
yeah.
you see it kind of stacked that way, don't you?
Yeah. I think that's the way it's going.
Okay.
So I
I just let the monkey out of the bag. So
well,
sorry.
that's all right. No, I continue to feel like the infrastructure is not at the place
Right.
it needs to be. There's more work that should have been done on this. I stand by that position. I've taken that position the whole time.
But here's
So,
my question to this, Josh, and this gets down to the way things are presented and the way things flow. And I know Ms. Schaffner recommended that this go back to planning before we took the first
before we took
reading.
the first one.
Okay,
and they
so-
went ahead and took it in.
So is this out of order to do this? And is it legal to do this? Have a planning commission possibly change their recommendation, and it just be going into a second reading? The recommendation change to me sounds like it should start it over with the first reading.
Yeah, they got a legal opinion on this and decided that it does fall. It's legal. I don't like it. That's why I voted against it, but it's not illegal.
I think it
so,
stinks,
yeah.
but
That's neither.
All right.
Yeah. They didn't ask us, did they?
No,
they did ask me.
they
and
asked you, and I don't have
they
a
didn't
vote,
ask
so
you,
I'm just sitting
I
here
don't know
laughing.
what to tell you,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
So the other one was the rezoning on West Jackson Street. That one was even more split. That was 3-2 to send that back to planning. And honestly, this one, I think should have come to a vote, and that's why I voted against sending it back. This is now the third time this will be in front of planning. The other two times nothing changed, so why are we continuing?
What about kicking the
push it
can
back?
thing? What
Well, this isn't so much kicking the can; it's just pushing it back out of the council's hands, back into the planning commission. So I think it should have gone ahead.
Is
and
the
done it.
river going to change its flow between now and
Between
then?
now and the next month, probably.
Okay, all right,
So
all right.
yeah, we'll see where that one goes. Other than that, everything else that happened at the council meeting was unanimous. There were a couple other rezonings that just actually fixed some split zoning.
the
down
Landers
on South
property.
County, a couple
Yeah,
Landers properties. We approved unanimously the amended budget. I mean, all those items had already been approved. This was just a paperwork thing of actually putting it in the budget. We approved we're going to have a November election, but it's not like we could have voted no on that. We're going to have a November election. So we did approve the last, and this was clarified, this River Overlook project.
Yep.
They wanted to make clear at the meeting, we approved the final, what should be the final. We don't even have bids yet. So we're hoping this is the final dollar amount for this thing. But the total cost to city residents, just so they know, has risen to $997,729. So I think it's a good project.
Yeah.
But they just wanted, because it was unclear in the minutes how much this was actually, or in the agenda, how much this is actually costing. That's what the city
costing the
costs.
city.
Yeah, and the majority, which is several $1 million, is being paid for by the state. So
Tell me, Josh, how do you feel about, and since you're on the council, how do you feel about spending like close to $1 million right there? How long do you think, just projecting things out, that would bring back in sales tax, tourism revenue, potentially 10-year payback, 7-year payback,
yeah,
50? It's hard to put a number
because you've got the immediate businesses there, but you also got to consider the fact that as our square is getting nicer,
more.
I'm hearing from more people that are coming into town saying, man, you got a nice thing here that maybe if that wasn't done, they wouldn't have even come into town at all.
Right.
So obviously you've got the businesses right there. They love it because it's immediately affecting them. But I think you've got a lot of a halo effect there that's helping other businesses.
So
too.
you're building a snowball, basically.
Yeah. You're trying to just build momentum of people
So
coming
it
to town.
sounds like it's
for one
really
thing.
could
Yeah.
be a very good investment.
I think it's a good long
10, 15 years from now, you could look back and say, boy, we're glad we did that.
We sure are glad we
Yeah.
did that because now you get a lot more people coming through town. So last time that had split vote, honestly, we had more split votes at this than we normally get at a city council
Yeah.
meeting. The other one, and I do understand why I voted this way, but 4-1 was the vote on sending the request to the planning commission to consider closing a portion of South Main Street.
Right.
This is a very small piece of South Main Street in front of the Shelbyville Power headquarters building. They're looking to expand. They've asked the city if they'd be willing to close it. I honestly don't have an opinion on this yet because we haven't even done a study. We need to do traffic studies and a bunch of stuff. But as far as just sending it for study, I didn't have any issue with doing the study. We're not voting to close it. We're just voting to look at it.
Right.
So
that
was it at
vote
yeah.
is sending it to planning.
To planning commission, and honestly, it won't just be the planning commission that looks at that. This will now have hopefully our public works department will do a study on that road.
Right.
How much traffic actually uses the road? Is it used a lot? Is it not used a lot? Kind of what the impact would be if we close this small section. Is there still good traffic flow in
Well,
the area?
Josh, just from somebody that's lived here their entire life and knowing what that traffic has been like over the years versus since the 4-lane has come in over by First Baptist, and it's considered like a little 82 bypass.
Right.
Not as much unless you've got business there.
Unless you're right in the area.
If you need business done at the power company, you go down that road. Outside of that, not much
You're
happening.
not on it a lot
No.
personally. Yeah. And obviously that business will continue because
Right.
That's the whole point.
That's
of
the
change.
destination. So yeah.
That's the change. So that concludes our small stuff, and let's start
All
talking county politics. We
Man.
are in election season. We're sitting here on a Saturday morning,
Yeah.
and a Wednesday morning, I'm going to walk into Pope's. I'm going to have my breakfast at 7:00. I'm going to walk out about 8:00, 8:15, depends on how
Yeah.
long we get
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
And I'm going to walk across the square, and I'm going to vote in the county primary. That is the first morning you can
Yes,
walk in
it
and vote.
is.
I usually go in on day one and go ahead and get it done. So
Well, let me ask you something, Josh, and I know what we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
How much does campaign expenditures affect the way you vote? Josh, if you're looking at a candidate, are you looking at who's supporting that candidate? Are you looking at maybe the record of that candidate? Are you looking, how do you come to your decision on casting that vote? Just asking you
yeah,
personally.
me personally, I mean, I think it varies for every person. Some
Sure.
people don't put a lot of thought into it. I probably put way too much thought into it.
I don't think
But
you can.
yeah, I'm kind of on the inside. I'm at all the meetings. I know pretty much all the people involved in this. There's a handful of candidates that are new this year. I don't know yet, but I'll see them so much between now and
Right.
August. They'll know me whether they want to or not.
Right.
I'm just personally looking at where I want to get to know them and find out where they stand on positions is where I'm at. They could put up 8 million signs across town and it's not going to affect me a bit, but there may be somebody that doesn't pay attention and maybe they see a bunch of signs. I guess maybe they could say, I saw more of that guy's signs and just vote for him because that I would hope they would put more thought into it than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me personally, I'm way too involved. So,
Now ask me the same
yeah.
question.
Okay, so how do you choose who you're voting for? David
All right.
Thomas.
All right.
You, clearly, you're queued up to answer this.
All right. So
Yeah.
you gave an assessment of how you're going to look at things. Okay.
Yeah.
I have been very similar to you. I've had an opportunity to sit down at this table and have some conversations with some of the candidates.
Right.
And I've also had that opportunity to ask those 5 questions that we have
That
for
you've
meet
done,
the
yeah.
candidates. And then I've talked to people just setting up for
camera,
that.
yeah.
And here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the candidates that talk about representing their constituents, those that are actually looking at the community. I like to hear them talk about how they're going to communicate with their constituents, or if they're going to communicate. You talked about taking a stand on certain issues. If that's something to look at, but I'm wanting to see, taking it one step further, are they really putting the general public's interest at the forefront? Are they actually representing their constituents when they come up and take
Right.
those stands? Okay, how they stand on an issue. That's what I've kind of been looking at. And sometimes that never enters into the conversation about what their constituents think or about what the general public is thinking.
Right. They may not even raise that point.
Right. And I've heard a lot of them say that. I
Sure.
mean, and that's refreshing to hear, because I feel like we've come from a political vacuum that has sealed out the general public. And I think over the last few years, the general public is starting to take note of that a little bit. Taxpayers want representation.
Right. Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've been filtering my stuff through. And, I'm in District 5. I see candidates there. I've seen that we've had some historically there that you can look at records, and then you got 3 new candidates that are running.
Right.
So which of these 3 are
you
going to
gonna
represent the constituents?
Yeah.
Who is actually going to get out and go and beat on doors and ask people their opinions, or listen to people, take
Yeah.
phone calls,
Do the work.
respond, do the work.
Yeah.
That's who I'm wanting to see.
You had more time to prepare for that answer. Your answer was better than mine.
No,
So-
actually, you got to it, because when
Yeah.
you said when you take a position on something, they've had
Right.
to base it on something.
I would.
I'm
hope
just
they-
taking it
yeah.
one step further. What do they
Yeah.
base it on? Their constituents
Did
or
they
their
actually
personal?
listen? Yeah. Did
So,
they listen? That's
If they're
key.
listening, that's the key.
That
And,
is
and
key.
I'll commend
So-
you, Josh.
Yeah.
I know that you have taken some votes that you necessarily didn't want to vote one way, but you had to, because your constituents basically
Yeah.
charged you to
it
do
happens
that.
sometimes.
Yeah,
it
it
does
happens.
for sure.
All right.
So what we're going to do is I went down yesterday and to the election commission, and I gathered 200 pages of financial reports.
200.
And we don't have time to go through 200 pages of financial reports today while we're sitting here. So I've not had time to read through 200. So we're going to very briefly just cover the financials of either people that are going to be that you're going to be able to vote for on Wednesday morning or anytime from
Right.
what is it, the 15th through the 30th
Right.
is early voting, and then May 5th,
May 5th is the primary.
Is the primary. And we're also, just because I know people will be interested, we're going to cover a couple of the big races here completely. So particularly,
Okay.
we're going to just start right at the top with the county mayor's race. I'm not going to dig too deep into these because honestly, none of these people have raised yet a lot of money. I think the mayor's race eventually, when we get closer to August, you're going to see a lot of money go into the mayor's
Yeah,
race.
and everything
So
right now is primary oriented. so
everything's
you don't-
primary
yeah.
oriented. There's not a lot has happened there, but I think this is honestly, for at this point in the mayor's race, this is just more of a curiosity thing for people. We've got the information,
Sure.
so we're going to put it out there. So I'm going to go from most to least amount of money raised and go through the candidates. And not everybody has filed a report. Let me just clarify that real
Right.
quick. If you have not declared your treasurer for your campaign, which means you could not have raised or spent any money.
Right.
That is possible at this point. We're far enough out that some people may not have.
Right.
So they wouldn't have a report. So if I go through the mayor's thing and there's going to be one or two that aren't in here, they didn't file, but they didn't break any
Right.
law. Maybe
Maybe they hadn't raised a penny yet.
they may not have raised a penny. It's
Yeah.
early. The
Right.
main election's in August. So, but let's go right off top. So our top in the county so far for county mayor is Mr. Kirk Cobb for county mayor is our top recipient of funds from donations. He has raised $4,700 so
Okay.
far in his campaign. Miss Allie Puckett, who I believe you've interviewed,
Yes.
is the second highest money raiser. She will be on the primary
Right.
this week. She has raised $3,940.
Okay.
Mr. Chad Fletcher, he will be on the ballot on Wednesday. He has raised, and let me just clarify this. This is in the first quarter. Some of these people may have even gone earlier. I do not know his total amount, because he had, before the quarter started, it said he had $200 on him last quarter and then raised an additional $2,394 this quarter. So he
Okay.
may have spent some last quarter that is not
Right.
in this report. Adam Vanderkin, who is not on the primary this time, but he has done, and I've got to read some of these people's handwriting, $1,950.
Okay.
Jordan Malone, also not in the primary, but will be on the general, has raised $1,100. James Sloan, $200. And those are the mayoral
Mayor,
candidates.
okay.
I just want to point out on the primary, which you've got three people running for that primary.
Right.
I sat down and I did not host the interviews, but I filmed interviews
Right.
with all three of those
Republican.
candidates. Every single person that is in a contested Republican race this election cycle did an interview this week, other than the mayor's ones, which I have not yet posted. All the rest are posted. If you go onto YouTube /the @ and Bedford GOP, those are up there. So I would listen to those people in their own words, explain what their platform is. I think
Yeah.
that's a good way to gather information about your candidates, is to actually hear what they have
Yeah.
to say.
That's the
So-
reason we're doing ours here.
that's
too.
the reason you're doing yours here. So this does not impact the primary, but I know this has been the most dramatic race so far in the county, and this is the sheriff's race.
Okay.
We got two people.
It
running
feels
for
like it's
sheriff.
been going for 3 years, man.
It feels like it's been going on forever, and we're not even through the primary yet. So just wanted to bring the numbers out just so people know, because, again, this is more curiosity for people than anything. We've got two candidates running. Both of them have clearly been in this for a while, because they all had money in the bank well before this quarter started. But top campaign earning recipient for the sheriff's race in this quarter was Mr. Nakia Elliott, who also raised the most money of anyone in the county races that we're going to cover
Right.
today. He raised the most countywide. He raised $21,550 this quarter, but he started the quarter with $20,857 already in the bank. So he's clearly raising a lot of money for the sheriff's race. And then Mr. John Sweeney is in at $10,659 for the quarter, and he started the quarter with $10,400. So Nakia is out spending / raising him about 2-to-1 on the financials.
Okay.
So just if anybody's curious on that. So, and Nakia will technically be on the primary ballot, but he's
Right,
unopposed on
uncontested.
that. So
Right.
yeah, you can go ahead and vote for him, but it doesn't matter until August.
Right.
So one that does matter, another one that I just want to cover real quick. The financials on this honestly don't matter a lot, but we'll cover it because this is on the ballot. We do have two people running as Republican for the property assessor's office. We have Miss Emily Red Hodges, who has raised $2,800 for her campaign, and then Mr. Drew Reed, who has done $784.
Okay.
So those are countywide races. Same thing. There's videos of them
Right.
on that YouTube channel. I would go and watch them.
And I got Drew's coming up. He will.
You
be,
filmed him as well,
Yeah,
I
he
believe.
filmed him. We
Yeah.
filmed him. He'll be out for first of the week probably, or over the weekend maybe.
Okay, so the last one, we're going to go a little, we're going to dig deeper on the last one. So I need to do a disclaimer at the beginning of the last one. This is going to be District 1 County Commission race. This is probably, I would say, the most competitive race we have coming on the early voting that's starting on Wednesday. My disclaimer is, in case you don't know me, people that do know me know this already, but one of the candidates, Commissioner Eric Maddox, who currently sits there, he and I go back to high school. So I know
Sure,
we got a lot of
sure.
that in the county, but he and I actually, out of the county, have been friends going back to high
Right,
school. So
right.
I just want to disclaim that on the front end. I also want to disclaim the fact that all three of these people running up until recently, and actually they still are, they're part of our Friday morning breakfast club.
Okay.
We met for breakfast for years.
You know one
and
another.
We know one another.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
personal friends,
Yeah.
so I don't want anybody, any of them. I hope I don't offend any of
Yeah,
them. So
yeah.
I want to get that out front. So, but in this case, I want to get a little deeper into these numbers because I think there's more going on in this one maybe than is some of the others. And I'll
Right.
explain why. Even though I have some biases, I'm going to explain why I think there's more going on. Just the raw data, the highest raising in District 1. Also, he was the second highest money raiser in the county for the first quarter in
Right.
the county election was my friend Jared Featherstone. He raised $12,000, which is I'll just go ahead and go off on the opinion side real quick. That's a lot in a county commission race.
Yeah.
So that same thing in a city council race. That's quite a bit to raise in a quarter. So good for him. $12,000. Mr. Mark McBryant, he raised $9,700. And then my good friend Eric Maddox, he did $1,500. He's self-funded,
Right.
which is where we're going to get a little deeper into this. So both Mr. Featherstone, both Jared and Mark, they got their jump start to, I mean, you don't get to 12 and 9,700 easy from
Right.
$5,000 donation from
Yeah. It's
a
not,
Better Bedford PAC.
It's not a Bernie Sanders $5 a person donation. We're talking about political action committee donations to these two candidates on the top.
Yeah. So let's we'll go there, and then I'll need to go another direction too with this. So both of them, that's how you get to $12,000 and $9,700. You have to start with large donations. They both got a $5,000 donation, as have a number of other county commission races, which
Yeah,
we're
we
not going to get
posted-
into
we
today,
posted
but we
that.
did post those
Yeah,
yesterday. So I want to go back and explain what a Better Bedford PAC is and PACs in general, and then kind of the road that this has gone. They started in 2024, and I've been with them the whole ride. So
Yeah.
they were in my campaign as well. So a PAC in general, Political Action Committee, is a method to funnel money, and I don't mean that in a derogatory term. It's just a way to get money
You funneling it.
into
Okay.
into a political campaign. If you're just a dude like you or me, and I wanted to give money to my friend Eric, I love Eric, but I'm not giving him money for his campaign. I don't do political donations.
Well, he's not
but
going
if,
to take it.
and he
either.
wouldn't take it anyways. But if you're a person and you want to give money to a
Right.
political campaign, you are maxed out on these type of races, a local small county race like this, which pays, I think the pay for a county commissioner is like $6,000
It's
a year.
ridiculous.
It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
under $500
Oh,
a
yeah,
month
yeah.
after in their check. But you can give them nice.
Let's just say this and declare this. They're not doing this for the money.
Nobody's
obviously.
doing this for the
No,
money. So
no.
yeah. So the most you and I could give to any of these candidates is $1,900.
Right.
So the purpose and the way that PACs were set up is Political Action Committee, but we're going to stay with PAC for now on, is that this allows you to funnel a lot more money into that same campaign.
Right.
A PAC can give a small county race like this, and I don't have the exact dollar figure because it moves every year, but it's over 10,000. It's like 10,400, I think, in this
Right.
particular election.
Okay.
They can also do that in both the primary and the general.
Right.
So technically, a PAC could give a candidate 20,000 and change.
Right.
On top of which, the other thing that having a PAC gives you is they can actually go out and spend money on things like political mailers, different things that you couldn't go and do a post. I guess I don't know that you can, honestly. On top of your 1,900, I don't think you could additionally
Fund
spend another
They got a
$5,000 to
maximum,
send mailers
Right.
for one of these candidates. whereas the PAC can. They can give the money and they can also do mailers and stuff like that.
Which, by the
So-
way, we have seen a couple mailers in previous elections.
Yeah, so let's go
And-
into that real quick. So history-wise, a Better Bedford PAC started in 2024. We wrote about it extensively back then. They got their kind of their feet in the water in the city election that I was
Right.
in 2024. They were much smaller in the city. We didn't have that many people running. I don't even know. Was it 3 total? I think is always running in the
Yep.
city. So that they chose 2 candidates and helped finance their
Right.
campaign. It's the same thing that they're doing here in the county
Right.
race. They put a lot of money into it, obviously, and they won 1 out of 2. So I'll come out and say I beat them on the other one with about after being outspent I was outspent probably 10-1. And
Right.
it was a huge margin. So
Right.
I spent a lot of money. So money does not necessarily mean you're winning the race.
That's where I come down on
That's
this.
where
Yeah.
that's the secret at the end. Yeah,
Right.
the money doesn't necessarily buy you the race.
Right.
So, but on top of the fact that they donated to those campaigns, they did mailers.
Yep.
So, and most of those mailers were okay, and we didn't have issue with those mailers. And I don't know that I had issue even when I'm about to talk about, but they did send what we'd consider
It
a
was a hit
political
job.
hit job
Yeah,
on one
absolutely.
of their opponents.
And
Yeah.
the time before that, in the county commission race,
That was not this PAC,
No,
though.
but
Somebody else did a
Somebody
similar
else
deal.
did it, but
Yeah.
it was the same.
Yes,
Came
they
from the
they
same-
have the
Came
ability
from the same thread of thinking.
to send a mailer out that
Right.
attacks somebody, and it allows them to do that. So,
Right.
so I don't know that they're going to do that this campaign. I'm just saying that that's something that can happen.
Just be on the lookout for
Yeah,
it.
just be on the lookout. You
Yeah.
may get something in the mail. If you do look who paid for it, there's a little thing down at the bottom and it'll tell you. So that's kind of the background of what a PAC is, who they are. As far as this particular one, it in my mind has kind of morphed. It started out just, kind of the inside baseball. It started out mainly with a lot of the board members off what at the time was the Shelbyville Bedford
Bedford
Partnership.
Right.
It picked up and became almost a business. I'd call it a business PAC
Right.
during the city election. There was a lot of local businesses
Oh, yeah.
gave into it.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the numbers this time, it's kind of morphed into, they almost could have renamed, it's more of a developer realtor PAC. At this
Exactly
point,
what
which
it
there's
is.
several of those separate of this
Yeah.
that are statewide, but it's turned a little bit more into a developer builder PAC. So they have clearly, and that's why we're going to focus on District 1. You can only vote 2 people, 2 commissioners, and you've got one that's currently sitting in office. You've got an incumbent.
Right.
So by financing 2 candidates, they're clearly upset with the one. So, I mean, I don't know how else you spin that. You're not financing 2 when only 2 gets through if you wanted the one
Right.
guy to get through. So
Right.
they don't like the one guy. So there's no
and-
other way to.
And
put that,
no,
so,
and it seems like it's coming in pairs. You see the signs paired together. You see the entire thing is like a tag team almost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I'm going to give a couple, and we're going to go opinion wise here real quick, because I'm going to give you a couple reasons that I just think why, because obviously he's an incumbent. He's voted on some things, and just a couple issues that I think may be there, and feel free to talk to them. Maybe they have different issues with what he's voted on. But I can think off the top of my head 2 big ones where he has put some votes out or attempted to, that may have gone in opposite alignment from the direction that some people that have financed the PAC would want. One of those was last year's county budget cycle. There was an attempt made by Commissioner Maddox to do a motion on the floor at the budget,
Right.
the final budget vote, that would have taken a portion of the funding for that Shelbyville Bedford Partnership, some of them started this PAC, and shifted that funding over to a number of nonprofits in the
Right.
county that didn't make the cut for the budget last year. It included some of the volunteer fire departments, giving them additional money. It included the library. It was people like the Tony Rice Center,
Right.
a number of nonprofits. I thought it was a good idea. I spoke to him and met with him numerous times about this idea to help him form it up. But for me, and this is my opinion, I felt like that was better for the people of Bedford County. However, just where I'm trying to draw the line here is, I think that there are people in this PAC that may have taken issue with that, because it would have taken some funding out of an entity that they are connected with and shifted it over to these nonprofits.
Right.
So that may be it's speculation, but that's just that. And then the other one I want to go to is, obviously we didn't get to $12,000 and almost $10,000 with just a $5,000 donation. Some additional people have given large donations as well, and I'm just going to give you a couple of them and go down a second rabbit hole real quick. And I'm doing this on the fly, literally, so I didn't even review this to look, and I knew that some of these names were on here, but we'll cover it real quick. Both of these financials from both of these candidates, they received donations of $1,000, it looks like, and I didn't even know these numbers till I looked, and $500 each from the entities connected to Hawkins and Price and Matthew Allen Trucking. And there's a very specific reason behind the scenes with that I feel like that money was spent against the incumbent, which is, you and I have discussed, there is going on currently in the county, there are what are referred to as farm ponds being built in District 1. And there has been controversy over whether those are just farm ponds or whether there is rock quarrying operation going on there.
Right.
We've covered both sides of that. We put out the big long press release. The county's position they have taken is that this is legal activity under the Farm Act, and that they're good, that not necessarily that they're good with it, but that they're not going to pursue trying to shut it down. They feel like it should go to legal action in the courts. Honestly, I kind of agree with them on that. I think we've talked about this. I think it is going to go to court eventually. However, the people that have given the money to these two candidates are literally the people that are involved in those two operations. And the reason that's important is because the incumbent candidate, Commissioner Maddox, even though he hasn't been super vocal that I can remember on the floor, because I know all these people and I'm on the inside, he has been the one working behind the scenes through email and stuff to at least raise some questions about the operations. And I feel like that probably has ruffled some feathers. So I don't take a position on the farm ponds one way or the other. They're not in what I deal with day to day, but these people have a financial interest in those, so that would put them at odds with what the position he's taking. I feel like his position probably represents more of what county people would want, but that would be up to the voters to decide. So that's kind of what I want to get into. I don't think, going backwards, that this happened in the race that I was in. A lot of money was spent. Money isn't everything. Money buys you a lot of signs. You get a lot more signs. Some people have more signs than the others, but I think in my case anyways, I just went out and knocked on doors.
Yeah,
so I let people know what I stood for. And for whatever reason, they agreed with me. I don't know if they still like me or not. We'll find out in a few years. But in this particular race, you've got a candidate that's already in there that people are not happy with some of the things he's voted on. I speculated here this morning on two things I think they were. You can draw a pretty straight line between some of these numbers and get there.
You peeled the onion back, Josh.
Yeah.
Okay. You got down into some layers. I'm going to put the onion back together.
Put the onion back together.
All right. I'm going to look at it from just looking at it from a 30,000 foot view, so to speak. You got the microscope out and you looked at it. I'm going to back up and I'll say this. The two District 1 commissioners that we have right now have come in and they've actually represented the betterment of Bedford County. They've listened to their constituents, the guys that don't have the money that can have influence. They've represented the normal folks that have concerns about things, and it just goes wide. I would say they've represented all of Bedford County when some people didn't have representation. They've gone against the establishment go along to get along mantra that you don't want to ask questions. If you ask questions, you're a troublemaker. Okay. I think there's a lot of questions that have to be asked. And I think the fact that you have a question shouldn't offend somebody. I think that you should be able to get an answer. And I think Commissioner Maddox and Commissioner Drew Hooker and some other commissioners that are out there, when they ask a question and they're asking on behalf of constituents, that ruffles feathers. You mentioned the feather ruffling.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want to encourage anybody to ask questions, do we? Okay. So I'm going to ask this question to the people that are out there watching. You need to take a look at who owns your candidates. Okay. Just point blank. Who owns them? The people or a select few? That's what the PAC gets to. That's the only way I can draw a conclusion. And I'm not saying I'm against the PAC. I've looked at the potential of maybe being part of a PAC before. But what we found out real quick was that we don't want to influence these candidates to bow down to my wants and wishes. We just want people to have representation. And it's hard to form a pack without creating the illusion that you're trying to control a candidate. And that's the perception that these things have. Okay. Just like lobbyists in Washington, D.C. Who can be bought? Okay. That gets down to it. So the question we all have to ask before we walk in the voting booth, who owns this candidate? Is this a people's candidate or is this a select few's candidate? And I'm sorry, that's pretty blunt, but that's the way I see it.
That was blunt, and that's your opinion. I appreciate your opinion. I don't disagree with your opinion, but I do. I do want to circle back around to the fact that there is voting starts Wednesday morning.
Yeah,
there are videos. If you care, get out and vote.
Yes,
we have had really bad turnout at this type of lightly contested elections like we're about to have. This is not. Unless you live in District 1 in the county, you probably don't even hardly know there's an election going on right now, and you probably don't care a whole lot, but you should. Even though we talked about the District 1 one, which has a lot going on behind the scenes, you will be choosing, for all intents and purposes, the next 2 years property assessor for the whole county at this primary. Not to discount the gentleman that's running independent, but the two people running are the ones working the office. I feel like whoever wins this probably is going to be your next property assessor. And you're also choosing who moves forward in the mayor's race. Out of the three that are in there, two will be eliminated. So everybody in the county has a reason to go out and vote. I will be surprised if we get much above probably 10%. We got like 7 or 8%.
Unfortunately, people do not understand what the primary actually is doing.
Yeah.
It's narrowing the field down.
Yeah.
And it narrows the field down in District 1. You got 3 guys going in and 2 are coming out.
2 are coming out. Yeah. Yeah. One's getting voted off the island.
So
one guy gets voted off the island, and then you'll have 3 more. Well, you have 1 more get back on the island for the general election, but at that point, you've already lost one of your 4.
I think we're going to see a big turnout in District 1.
I think District 1 is where you will have a big turnout. And as far as who to vote for, I know we almost, to me, I've pushed a little too far this morning. It may look like we're endorsing, but we tried really hard not to give an endorsement, even though as I mentioned,
I'm endorsing. Let me tell you who I'm endorsing. I'm endorsing the citizens of Bedford County.
Yeah.
Who is going to represent the citizens of Bedford County?
Yeah. But as far as gathering your information, there are videos. We mentioned, I want to reiterate that again. Go to the Bedford GOP YouTube page, even if you hate Republicans or whatever. If you're going to go vote in the primary, at least listen to them. There was an event last night that I can't get you to because it happened last night. But there is an additional event this coming Friday at the Bell Buckle Fire Hall. It is at 6 o'clock. You can go meet them in person and talk to them and ask them where they stand on, because different people have different issues. You may care about this, where somebody else cares about this. Go to who you're considering voting for, ask them your issue and say, hey, where do you stand? Are you willing to listen to my opinion on this? Are you willing to hear my concerns? Can you even get a hold of this person that's running? Which you should be able to. This time of year, they all. I think
it's self-explanatory. If you look at the list of who the PAC is supporting, the Better Bedford PAC, is that the name of it?
A Better Bedford.
Bedford PAC. Okay. Yeah. I think when you ask the question, are you taking money from any local PACs? That's a question I would ask first. And I know I've got my answer on all the other questions. When I ask that question, you can bring it to a head real quick by knowing that.
I would still ask your issues. I would still, and I love you, David, but I think there's more to it than just, I think there's more I would look at in the candidate, because I've still have not made my decision in District 2, and there is obviously one there that did take mine. There's 3 that didn't, but that is not going to be my complete determining factor of which 2 I choose and I will not say who I choose, but I will make a decision at some point once I've talked to all of them individually.
I would look. I would look. We've got 8 that have taken money from the PAC so far.
Right. Yeah, there will be more once we get through the primaries.
I would like to ask all 8 of those if they would. Are they able to represent just an ordinary guy now? Okay, let's just get right down to the topic that everybody's like driving the argument with. It's all about development. It's all about growth. Okay, we can go down that path and talk all day about it. But we have, I know, and here's the thing people are looking at, and especially in a rural area. Do they want the character changed in District 1, in District 2, in District 5? Do they want to see big residential development starting to take over the landscape? The general consensus is in Bedford County is we want to keep that character, okay?
Rural character.
That rural character.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying that there's a group of people that want to do away with it, but they feel like that the more rooftops we have, the more success we're going to have. And not obviously, if you're building those rooftops, you want to make money on it. Okay, this is just the facts, the way they are. This is money. This is about money. Okay, in the end, we want more tax revenue. We want to build more houses because that's what we do for a living. I get that. I get it. I understand that. But from the standpoint of 55,000 people living in Bedford County, when you have a select group of few people that control the lives of those 55,000 based on the decisions they make and the maneuvers they take, it's a concern. And I think that's why more people need to get out and exercise their right, hunt down that candidate that's going to represent them, and pull the trigger for that person.
Well, don't shoot the guy, but go vote for him.
Pull
in the
the
voting
trigger.
booth.
That's a trigger.
Go vote for
Okay.
him in the voting booth.
All right,
So,
so
well,
that's all
we warned you ahead of time that we're going to cover money in politics. If we offended you today, we gave you the warning. I don't know what to
Here's
tell you,
something
so.
that Diane Neely has come in. I have shared this before. Every vote counts. I
Yep.
won my first election by one vote. I hear people say voting doesn't matter, but it does. Your vote may change the outcome of your representation. Amen.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Even in we'll go back to District 1. I believe that last
Three.
race, what was it, 3 vote
That
margin.
was a family sitting at the dinner one night saying, "Who y'all gonna vote for? We need to decide who are we voting for."
Right.
They went and pulled the trigger
Yeah, they pulled the
The
trigger.
lever
The lever. They,
for
I think you push buttons. now.
push buttons
Yeah.
now. Yeah, they went and pushed those buttons, and 3 votes cast from
Made the
that
difference.
family made a difference in that election.
Yeah, they made the difference.
It could very well get to that same thing this year too.
It could, yeah. Especially these are small races with
Yeah.
low turnouts. It's they're going to be close, I think. So,
Okay.
with that, unless you want to chase another rabbit, let's hear from our sponsors
No.
because we've got a few things to talk about coming up next week.
All righty, we're gonna hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
For clear vision and trusted care, choose Cutting Edge Optical. We offer comprehensive eye exams powered by 2020 exams, expert contact lens fittings, and a wide selection of quality frames to match your style and budget. Need glasses fast? We even offer same-day eyeglasses to keep you seeing clearly without the wait. Our experienced team is committed to personalized service and helping you see your best every day. Visit Cutting Edge Optical at 1114 North Main Street in Shelbyville, or call 931-488-5778 to schedule your appointment today.
Get the results you want with the personalized service you deserve at Dennis Young Insurance Agency.
As a local independent agency, we offer coverage from several different companies, including Erie. So whether it's auto, home, life, personal, or business, we can find the right coverage to meet your unique insurance needs. And with a rate lock advantage, your rates won't go up as long as you do not change drivers, autos, or addresses. Contact us at Dennis Young Insurance Agency, insuring Shelbyville and surrounding areas since 1988.
When you're ready to buy or sell in Middle Tennessee, you want someone who knows this community inside and out. Meet Diane and Madison Arnold, Shelbyville's trusted real estate team with decades of local experience and award-winning results. Whether it's finding your dream home, pricing your property to sell, or navigating every step of the transaction with confidence, they're with you from start to finish. As part of Coldwell Banker Southern Realty, they pair hometown expertise with powerful market tools to help you move with confidence. Call Diane and Madison today and experience the personal service and local knowledge that makes all the difference.
All righty, welcome back in here to the weekend wrap up, Josh. What we got coming up next week?
Well, I should have made notes. We're going to go through Josh's iPhone calendar here real quick, and I'm going to flip through and tell you what I got one at a time here. So Monday morning, 9:00, I am going to the city pre-planning meeting. So
The meeting before the meeting.
the meeting before the meeting, we'll be discussing next month's developments coming to the Planning Commission. So honestly, don't know what those are, but we'll find out on Monday. Tuesday, 5:30. This one's important to me and hopefully should be for the county as well. Final meeting of the Senior Property Tax Freeze Committee. I sit on that committee. It's a mixed city-county one. We had a great meeting last month where somebody from the state came in
Right.
and presented all the kind of the data and stuff from the state's perspective, how it works. He showed us some examples of they've got some new software that makes it easier on the back end for the
Okay.
people.
Well,
and
before you
everything.
go
So,
on,
yeah,
what's the process going forward after this committee meets? Does it make a recommendation to the rules committee? Is that what happens next?
It goes to the rules committee next because this was formed as a subcommittee of
Right.
rules. I mentioned this, I think, when I spoke to rules last month. This is me personally, and well, the committee will make the decision. I don't feel comfortable recommending one way or the other because of the fact that I sit on the city council, as do two of the other members of this committee, have no connection to county government. So for us to recommend to a county
right.
committee to me feels like a bad thing. I would prefer just to send them the information and let them.
But
take it
but
from
the
there,
county
so.
people sitting on that can recommend.
They could themselves, I guess. I don't know. Do we want part
So
of
what's the
yeah.
rule? What's the rule committee going to do with? Is this a recommendation or this is just information? They would have to debate.
They
it
need
there.
to decide which I hope they
So
do.
your
if
committee
they take our
was
information was to gather
gather
the
information.
information.
Okay,
We were an
gotcha.
informational
All right.
committee.
Gotcha.
We have gathered so much information. I've sent, and I didn't just send it to rules. Every single member of the county commission and the city council has received every single piece of it. They're probably tired of getting emails from
All
me.
right. Well,
But they've got a video and a packet from every one of these meetings. It's up to them to do the work to actually watch it. I can't force them to, but they can't say we didn't get the information because they got it.
so rules committee would then make their decision.
Their
move it to
decision
the
to
entire
move it
commission.
to, well, they could, but
other
the
committees.
feeling is it should probably go to finance because this is a financial matter. They should probably look at it and then go to the full commission. So
Oh boy.
yeah, so I hope it gets the full commission for vote. That's all I've wanted the whole time is to get it
Yeah.
on the commission floor and get
Yeah.
a vote. We'll see if we can get there. Following that committee meeting at 7:00 on the same second floor of the courthouse is the regular monthly county commission meeting. The following day in the morning, I'm trying to get to the 911 board is having their meeting. I go to that one, not every time, but I'm going to hope to get there. That afternoon, our bid committee for the city is meeting. I would tell you what we're looking at bids on, but I've forgotten already. I think it's connected to the airport. Thursday morning, always an exciting one. Railroad Authority. We'll be talking all things railroad in Bedford County. I sit on that one. I will run out the door, possibly even have to leave that one early because I'm in this. Probably didn't need to make the news, but I'll go ahead and talk about it. I'll be attending a fundraiser for the Friends of Scouting. I believe this is
Okay,
we're helping
all
Boy
right.
Scouts at the
Okay.
Fly for lunch, and then the school board meets that evening at 6:00. I will try to be to that. I believe they're meeting at Shelbyville Central this month. At the same time as that meeting, I never make it to it because it's not on my calendar. There's usually BZA meetings at the city and county where they'll discuss zoning things. And then lastly, Friday, I'm not going to this because as I see on my calendar, it's my wife's birthday and she would shoot me. But if it's not your wife's birthday, go to Bell Buckle, meet the candidates at 6:00 at the Bell Buckle Fire Hall. And they will have, particularly if you're in District 1, surely they'll all be there because this is in District 1.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the mayoral candidates as well will be there. And this would be a second big opportunity for you to go meet the person you may or may not vote for and say, hey, I care about such and such. Where do you stand on that? Are you willing to listen to my position? Do you have a position?
Right.
You know, that type of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
So-
So, Josh, I just got tired listening to how many meetings. And I promise you,
Yeah.
You probably attend more meetings than anybody in the state of Tennessee.
Well, I don't know about
I
that.
think
Those people
y'all
in
might
Nashville
agree.
do.
He goes to more meetings. I think there's two of him, actually. Or do you have a clone?
I need a second one of me, but no.
Or
it's just
are you
me.
using a hologram in
I
cases?
don't think so. I think it's me. So I pinched myself.
I don't know
and
how you
felt
do it.
So,
I don't know how you do it, but
Well,
man, everybody out there watching appreciates it, Josh.
Well, thank you.
Thank you
I have
for-
fun. We have fun.
It's fun.
So,
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Alrighty, I have fun listening to it.
Yeah.
And
So well, we're trying to. Hopefully, people are informed and
Yep,
helps
that's
them
the
know a
goal.
little bit of what's going on in
that's
Shelbyville. and
the
Bedford
goal.
County. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Well, what else, Josh?
I think that's
Is that
enough.
it?
Is that not enough? Surely
I
that's
think you
enough.
got a
I think
lot of
we've almost
papers.
talked for an hour.
Yeah, we
So,
have.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate your input, and as always, we'll see you next week. And again, thanks to all our sponsors.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out and watching.
See you
us.
next week.
So long.